Hi everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I've got a new STAMPtember exclusive from Art Impressions. This is called Nutty and Nice. These ladies are my squad goals for my golden years. Heck, not even my golden years, just any time of year. And I'm going to jump right into this project because there's a lot going on for this simple effect. The first thing I'm doing is creating a colorful background of pink. Very monochromatic, and I'll tell you what my thought was. Initially, I thought I'm just going to make pink as the background, stamp the image in black ink, and just leave it black and white. And that seemed okay, but then I realized, you know what? You can actually add a little simple color to match the background, which is what I'm going to do. Now I brought in a piece of the purple tape because the oxides take a little longer to dry, and if you don't want your fingerprints on your paper while you're trying to hold it in place to blend, Post-it tape or purple tape or anything will do. And I'm continuing on with the colors. This is a really nice combo of color as well, and I should point out I use blender brushes because I feel like I get a better result with a blender brush versus a foam, but really any kind of tool that can let you add ink, whatever works for you. You know what they say, you got to do you. So I'm wiping off as much as I can get off that darker color because I kind of wanted to go back over the top with the lighter color, the spun sugar, and I'm going to set that aside to dry. Now for the ladies. I've got a piece of Neenah Classic Crest. This is actually the 80-pound weight cardstock. And there's a reason I thought the 80-pound would work better because I am going to fussy cut the image. But I'm going to stamp in Memento Tuxedo Black because I'm going to do some Copic coloring. Again, I wasn't planning on it. Initially, I was just going to say these ladies are going to be black and white because I'm not a great Copic colorer. So sometimes when I see an image with a lot of detail, I start to panic. But I stamped it twice because I wanted to get a nice, good impression, and I thought that looked great. But then I decided to get a little crazy. I pulled out my Copic marker chart. Now, I will link to the video where I recently showed how I set this little resource tool up because it's helping me to be less intimidated by my markers. I figured if I could find just a couple pink markers that would work well with the blended background, that I could use those to color my image and keep it really simple. That's exactly what I decided to do. So, got my pinks ready to go here. And here's the other cool thing. The Art Impressions packaging often has the image colored. And the thing that's great about this, especially if you're kind of a novice colorer, it will show you where shadows are supposed to be. I don't have that innate artistic ability to know where the sun is. Well, I mean, I think you don't even. I know where the sun is, but I don't know how shadows get cast, and I don't do art in that way. So having the package right there gave me the ability to look over and see, here's where it's darker on the slippers. Oh, here's where it's lighter on the slippers. And I found it really helpful. So most of my markers you'll be able to see here as I'm going through, but everything will be listed below if there's a color that I'm using and you think, what's that, Cathy? Really, really simple. So I thought it would be cool to have just pinks for the accents up at the top. You know, I'm not going all in with color. I'm keeping it really, really simple. The same goes for the skin tones. I'm sure I could have done some research and figured out how to layer colors, but you know what? No. I'm going to go with E00, the cotton pearl, and that's it. If there's an area where I wanted to add a little extra shading, I just went over that area again. But it worked really well for their skin tone, you know? These ladies look great. They look fresh as the day they were 40. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I remember 40 so well. Anywho, moving on. For the pajamas, I knew I'm going grays. And I'm going with the warm grays. Again, following the shading that I see there on the packaging, when I first started using Copics, and that would be, let's see now, 2017 was when I made my first Copic purchase. You would think that I would be more adventurous by now, but I'm really not. I really love the warm grays. They're easy to work with, and once I figured out what the pants were going to look like, I did that for the rest of the ladies' bottoms. And then for all of the tops, I'm just going with a lighter gray. The W, is that the W0? Yeah, and coming in, adding a tiny bit of shadowing. But again, by keeping it really simple, the stress factor, way lowered, right? This is fun. And I realized this looks pretty good actually. Now I did follow what the hair looked like pretty closely in terms of the shading. For the antlers, I decided to just take 2 colors, make them brown. Darker brown is the E99. But then there was the fruitcake. So I brought out my little Copic marker reference, picked a color that would match the fruitcake, and I colored the fruitcake in, and then I added a little bit of red to where the whatever that is in fruitcake would go. Now I'd love to say that I have the video to show you where I fussy cut this, but I wasn't recording. So here's the thing. I found this 80-pound weight was really nice for fussy cutting because you can fussy cut anything. And I feel like the lighter weight cardstock just makes it easier to turn your piece and get a nice cut. So there are my ladies. There's my sharp little scissors. And I think it turned out great. I decided to add some little polka dots to their shirts, their PJ tops, using my Jelly Roll pen, because it appears that way on the packaging, and even though that's pretty subtle, I think it's pretty cute. I went ahead off camera and stamped and embossed in white one of the sentiments from the set, and I'm just using one of my sentiment labels from the Simon Says Stamps Sentiment Labels set to cut out a perfectly cut strip. I use this set all the time, and it cuts perfect strips just like that. And then I use the little pennant notch die as well. I like to tape the strip down and then tape that down, then run that through, and it just gives you a really nice little notched banner. And I'll trim the excess off using my paper trimmer. I'm going to be using these Waffle Flower A2 Layers dies. These for me have probably been my most go-to product of, well, let's see, 2019. Yeah, because they're all nested, they're all perfectly sized, and they let you frame out whatever it is you want to cut perfectly, just like this. Now, this is pretty basic, right, because it's just a blended panel, but I like the fact that these will give me a perfectly trimmed panel for my card project. And that looks great. I'm going to score my card base on some Simon Says Stamp Smoke cardstock. This will be a US A2 card size. It's 5.5 wide by 4.25 tall. And I always tape my card bases close so they don't pop up while I'm trying to add my elements. I'm going to pop up the blended panel right there with some foam tape. And then I'm popping up my ladies as well. Got to give those ladies some lift and dimension. Am I right, ladies? Thank you. Putting that down. And you can see how there's just such nice contrast with that background and the simple coloring. And then I'm popping that up with some thin foam adhesive, bringing in my T-square just to make sure that's straight, pressing that down, and that's it. That's my finished card project. I think this turned out really well, and it's very simple. The color palette is limited, and I think when you limit your colors, you can have great results. I am going to send this card to, I have 2 best friends. Bestie number 1 is the OG from the age of 13, and because we are now firmly in our 50s, I think she's going to get a kick out of this. Be sure to check out this STAMPtember exclusive today from Art Impressions, because once it's gone, baby, it's gone. Thanks for watching my video, and I will see you back here with another card project soon.